This is how we use Gliffy to create network diagrams. First, go to gliffy.com, log in using your Google account. Once you're logged in, this screen will appear. You can click on Network Diagram to get started. It will set up the mostly used network diagram icons on the left here, so we can easily drag them in, or either way, if they're not there, we can search for them up here in the Search Shapes box. First thing we need to do is bring in the internet. So the internet is depicted by usually a cloud. You can either search for an internet icon or just drag out the cloud icon there. Double click to label objects and call this the internet. The first thing that comes in from the internet on a premises, or like at your house or at a building, is the modem. So if you can't find the modem in the existing icons down here, you can simply search modem and drag the modem in, and we are going to now draw a line or connect this modem to the internet via this connector line up here, connector tool. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to drag from the middle node, which is one of those green dots or the crosses, to the middle of the modem. The line is in front of these icons and on top of that text at the moment, so we're going to right click on the line. If I right click on the line and say send to back, it will send it behind those two icons. Now the beauty about Gliffy is, once we've made those connections, we can move icons and devices around without having to redraw those lines. So we'll label this modem, double click modem. What happens after the modem comes in? It usually goes through a firewall. So let's search for a firewall. We can use this icon to depict a firewall. A firewall protects the incoming packets or the not very nice packets from your internal network, which we're about to depict. So we're going to connect again using this connector tool. We're going to draw a line to the firewall and then send that line to back, send to back. These lines also show Ethernet cables. So this could be one of those blue Ethernet cables you see behind the computers. Now we need to go to a router from the firewall. And we'll use the same style of icon and connect the firewall to the router. Send the line to back. And label the router. Now at home, usually the modem and the router and the switch and these other components that we're about to put out, the switch and the Wi-Fi or the WAP, is all built into one small device that looks like this. Wi-Fi or wireless. I think the icon looks most like this one. So you might have one box at home that has the Wi-Fi, the router built in, the switch built in, the modem built in, and a firewall actually built into one little box. But we like to separate the objects, especially in larger scale network diagrams for places like commercial buildings and businesses. So we'll leave this here, and we'll actually call this a WAP or Wi-Fi. Well, we'll use WAP because that's the correct terminology, wireless access point. And this job is just to connect wireless devices to the router. So in fact, we can connect now the router to the WAP. And this will allow things like laptops, tablets to connect now to the internet. Let's put in a tablet as an example. So now this tablet can connect via Wi-Fi. Let's get a little Wi-Fi symbol. Bring that in. This connects to the WAP. In fact, we could duplicate this if we right click and say duplicate, just to show that the WAP is Wi-Fi as well. The tablet accesses the internet through the WAP, that goes through the router, that goes through the firewall, that goes through the modem, that goes to the internet. And the internet is basically thousands upon thousands of similar networks, all connected together. Let's put in some other components. The switch is very important. Switch. This looks too similar to this icon, I think. So let's find something else. This looks more like a switch to me. Load balancer. And in fact, that is a switch, but a larger switch. And this is what they would use in, let's say, a large business that had a lot of components that needed to be connected to the internet through the router and the modem. So let's connect, or let's label this first, switch. And let's connect the router to the switch. And we'll put that line to the back again. Send to back. And from this switch, we could have all sorts of things. We could have a computer or a desktop computer. We could have many desktop computers, in fact. But at home, you've probably maybe got one, at least one. Let's connect that to the switch. And we'll name this just our regular PC. You might have a laptop that is Wi-Fi, but sometimes you might connect it to the switch for a better, more reliable connection when you're playing games or streaming videos or something. So again, these cables or these connectors represent Ethernet cables. Those blue cables, they're not always blue, but they're usually blue. We'll just you can adjust these lines slightly too by dragging them on those small nodes. We might have another WAP. So that's easy because we've got this one already here. We can just right click and duplicate. And we might need another WAP maybe down the other end of the house to improve the Wi-Fi signal. It's not very often that this is sort of set up, but some people might have this set up at home. Again, send that line to the back. And maybe another thing might be an IP camera. I'm not sure if that'll come up. Let's put in camera by itself. We could depict this as an IP camera, a security camera. So that camera might be also connected to the switch. You might even have another switch that is connected to this switch that goes down further towards the bottom of the house or the side of the house or out in the garage. But basically, that is what a typical home network might look like. We have the internet that comes in through the modem. The modem's job is to interpret the signals from the internet to something your router an internal network can understand. Typically, or traditionally, sorry, that would be an ADSL modem, and that would convert analog signal to digital. Then it goes through a firewall, so that prevents bad things coming in from the internet. And this should be updated and maintained regularly to have the current list of things to block. Then that goes to the router and then is dispersed to all the devices on the network. So that might go to a switch first, which then goes to a WAP down the other end of the house that would be servicing wireless devices down there. The router might also have a WAP directly connected to it and be giving access wirelessly to devices closer to where the router is. But the switch might be down the other end or in a certain part of the house where there is an office or something where you can connect a PC, a laptop, maybe even a security camera. And typically, like I said at the start, all these switch, router, Wi-Fi or WAP, firewall and modem are usually all in one device. So the internet would come into your house at a certain point, go to looks like the modem or the Wi-Fi or the WAP, but it's actually got all these things built in. And then from there you would just go Wi-Fi from your phone, tablets and computers straight to the wireless modem, router, firewall, switch all in one device. But this is technically what it looks like. And this is how you use Gliffy to create a network diagram.